Going live. It'll take a sec.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and you guessed it, good following morning. This is AMA number 70. Number 70. We are in the 70s, Avi.
Very impressive.
Decade that we were born in, and a decade of great filmmaking. Today is September 30th, and we have a great guest today, Katarzyna Markusz.
24th of Tishrei.
What?
24th of Tishrei.
The 24th of Tishrei. Thank you. I was about to ask. Avi coming in hot with the Hebrew date.
Might be my signature opening.
That's right. The signature, as we develop our banter, we'll do the opening, and then you can let us know the very important Hebrew date.
5,782 years from creation, Jonathan.
Exactly. Those are some pretty lost dinosaurs, though, aren't they?
I think they were made. It's a conspiracy. It's a whole other discussion. I don't know if we have the time to go into that. I mean, listen, if this is the tradition, don't mess with it.
What about? Okay, fair enough. How are you, Rabbi Avi?
I am wonderful. I'm in Israel. The weather's nice and warm. I had a wonderful holiday. And Simcha Torah, we do it one day here in Israel. So it all gets crammed into one fun day of dancing, a little bit of drinking, and a lot of hanging out in the synagogue.
Rabbi Avi, did you drink?
Of course not. Don't be silly. But I saw people who did.
Rabbi Avi, you and I are two of the more boring people around. Neither of us drink. Neither of us do any drugs.
No caffeine either.
Well, you have caffeine.
Well, in chocolate, that's a different form. I'm talking about coffee.
You don't drink any tea?
Usually I drink herbal, but
all right. So need no caffeine, no alcohol. You're almost a vegetarian.
I do sniff glue, but that's separate. That doesn't.
Glue sniffing is okay.
Oh, okay, just checking.
Glue sniffing is okay. So your Simcha Torah was good for me. Simcha Torah, and growing up with my dad there was a guy in the synagogue who owned a carvel, and he would bring those flying saucers. Flying saucers. George, the guy from Carvel, would bring flying saucers. This was the absolute highlight of Simcha Torah. You ask me Simcha Torah, ice cream.
Let me ask you a question. When he brought it in, did he sing the Carvel anthem?
What's the Carvel anthem, Avi?
Carvel, ice cream.
That's later.
Carvel.
No, but he said, "Hi, this is Tom Carvel. This is Fudgy the Whale."
Fudgy the Whale.
Did you notice that every ice cream cake was the same shape? They just changed the drawing on it.
Well,
it was a whale. It was a spaceship.
Ice cream. Every
Carvel.
Tuesday, Sunday is Wednesday.
No, my friend. Wednesday is Sunday.
Oh, Wednesday is Sunday.
I'd like you to know that for all the talk about Carvel, Carvel is great. People think, and I was like, you get more of this, you get older, fancy ice cream, you like this, you like that, whatever. Carvel is great ice cream, I have to say. And it holds up very well.
Nothing like
days. We had Dairy Queen recently, and we have to go on an ice cream deep dive because of my Tasha's obsession with ice cream. And she loves soft serve. So we went to Dairy Queen, disappointing. Carvel is so creamy and rich and good. It's great. So we would do, if I was flying out of New York, I would always try to fly on Wednesday. So on the way to the airport, get those 2-for-1 Sundays. Wednesday is Sunday at Carvel.
It's been 100 years, no? Carvel.
It's been a while. Michael Treisen. Hello, Michael. Shavua Tov and Shabbat Shalom. Michael Treisen. Hi, Sita. Hi, Dad.
Jerry. A good yor. That's what we say in the Altaland.
in the Jewish world. So yeah, Avi Carvel kosher. Was Carvel kosher growing up, Avi?
Carvel was kosher for me when I was growing up.
That means I'm not sure.
I think it was kosher. We didn't have all the fancy Haagen-Dazs and all that mishigas. We had Carvel until we had Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins also pretty good.
No complaints. No complaints.
Baskin Robbins, there's ice cream is very Jewish if you think about it. First of all, Carvel Jewish. Baskin, I think at least Baskin, if not both Baskin and Robbins, Jewish. Haagen-Dazs, Jewish. Fruzengladja, the fake Haagen-Dazs. Remember Fruzengladja?
Of course.
Also Jewish. And obviously Ben and Jerry, both Jewish. So very Jewish ice cream. Perhaps that has to do with the fact of the large obesity rates historically among Jewish people.
It's a little strange that so many Jews are into ice cream, considering our lactose problems that we have.
And that's a new thing, though, Avi. When I was a kid, nobody was lactose intolerant. You weren't a lactose intolerant when you were a kid either, my friend.
I was lactose intolerant. We just didn't call it that. We just called it, you're sick, get out of the room.
You were just unpopular.
I didn't know why.
Exactly. Oh, Avi, lactose intolerant. Maybe we've just given this term to people that have issues with certain holding things back.
Maybe. I want to tell you, I performed a wedding last night, which is really cool because I get to do that in Israel. And it was for a student that I had 10 years ago. I had a student that I brought to Israel and I taught her, and then she found a guy and she lives in Israel and she loves it here, and she asked me to be her rabbi, and it was so beautiful. Wow. And it was in Netanya on the Nof, on the sea, on the Tayelet there, overlooking the Mediterranean. And I gave it in half English, half Hebrew, and everyone was involved, and we sang and we rejoiced. I tell you, it was a beautiful Israel moment, and I always am trying to catch those moments because they tied me over for the struggles. So it was a special occasion.
There's, I think, a certain satisfaction that you get as a teacher. I guess as a parent, you have that, but I haven't yet witnessed that personally. But when to see a student then move on into next phases of their life, being successful academically, or getting married, having children, whatever happens, is a particular pride for a teacher and a rabbi in this sense, in the teaching sense. Absolutely.
We rarely see the investment coming to fruition. We just plant seeds, and then to have her be in touch with me and over the years, and then say, let's do this. And she married an Israeli and totally integrated. I'm on top of the world. So
very nice. And how was your Shemini Atzeret?
Oh, the famous Shemini Atzeret, Jonathan. Your favorite holiday. Once again, holiday. In Israel, it goes together with Simcha Torah, so we didn't even ask the question.
So when you say, "What are you doing?" Oh, how are you enjoying the day? Do they say, "Oh, today Simcha Torah / Shemini Atzeret is fine," or do they just ignore? I feel like if you merge the two in one day, that Shemini Atzeret, because it's the unknowable holiday, probably gets forgotten a little bit.
I think so. I think for the reasons that you've been bugging me about Shemini Atzeret for 10 years, 8 years, the rabbis came up with Simcha Torah. They just said, hey, this isn't working. It's not very popular. Can we insert some kind of, excitement in the day?
Avi, besides creating a day, Holocaust Survivor Day, thank you, I feel that it's, I'm going to take it upon myself to remove Shemini Atzeret from the Jewish calendar. We have so many days. Honestly, we don't need it. We really don't need it. And I think we should remove it.
I tell you, from just my family's experience, they would agree with you. There was way too much eating, and every other day, sometimes you hit it that it's on Shabbat, so you knock off two at the same time. But here, every 2 days is another holiday, and you just can't do it. You can't afford it, and you can't keep eating. So now, if you start the movement,
you're in. You're going to help my cause of getting rid of Shemini Atzeret.
No, I am not. But I will. watch it along, and I will root for you.
You won't support me in this, Avi?
I will not support you, as I'm an Orthodox rabbi. It's a little hard for me to eradicate a day that's written in the Bible.
It's not eradicating, but you can support the removal of it. That's how things change.
Not going to happen, but I support your commitment to your goal.
I want the Jewish calendar to be streamlined and reflect the needs and work for the Jewish people. And the extra Shemini Atzeret is not helping anybody.
We should upgrade Holocaust Survivor Day to, like, Yom Kippur levels, or
No, it's a happy day.
Happy
Yom Kippur.
Happy day. Of course, the happy day is Simcha Torah. So if you get rid of Shemini Atzeret, you're not going to have Simcha Torah. So what are you going to do then?
I don't want to get rid of Simcha Torah. I want to get rid of Shemini Atzeret and let Simcha Torah be on its own in Israel. I'm not saying get rid of Simcha Torah. I'm just saying Shemini Atzeret. All right. I think Justin Cadis will join me.
The mysteries of the Creator, unfortunately, will not be solved in today's podcast. But maybe
we can try. Avi had a very nice time. I went to Warsaw. It was my niece's second birthday, which is very nice. So I was in Warsaw, and we had a particularly nice event here in Krakow, which is we inaugurated our Happy to Chat bench. Right, which is a woman years ago in Wales had an idea. She saw somebody who was lonely, and she said, how nice would it be if people realized that they could sit and talk to this person? So she put a little sign that said on the bench, which said, if you sit here, you're happy to talk to you. And it became a Happy to Chat bench, and they're all over the UK and in Canada and in the US. And we inaugurated the first one here in Krakow at the JCC, which I think is a very nice idea, especially at a time of increased loneliness and social isolation because of Corona, that you can sit on this bench, and if you're sitting there, you're free to chat with the person next to you.
I want to tell you that the following day I used that bench, but there's a very damning picture of me that you might have in the office over there.
Are you eating bacon on the bench?
I was sitting,
a damning picture.
I was sitting next to another Jewish Community Center member.
Yes.
But both of us were on our phones facing
opposite. Oh no. Maybe we can call it a happy to chat / happy to happily ignore each other and look at our phones bench.
We then kind of turned towards each other for the fake portrait. But we got these phones are killers. We what we should do, Jonathan, if you're into instituting things, we should do one day a week. We shouldn't use our phones. What day should we choose? I'm trying to think about it.
Oh, not to use our phones. What about this? Let's say a rabbi whose job it is to give a speech, half of his job is to give speeches. What if they picked a day not to work? So shouldn't rabbi, I'll tell you what, Rabbi Avi, if you can explain to me in 3 sentences how a rabbi is allowed to be a rabbi on Shabbat, I will become an Orthodox Jew.
Challenge accepted.
Not allowed to work, except if you're a rabbi, look at the representative, and your whole job, half your job is Shabbat, which is not work on Shabbat.
I would gladly explain to you the intricacies of this, but our guest is waiting. So
our guest is waiting, and she's a wonderful guest, and I'm very excited to get to her, and I'm going to bring her in. Avi, you're saved by the bell as usual. I am going to bring in our guest, Katarzyna, which we all know, Kasha, the name Kasha Markusz. She is a journalist, an educator, a social activist. She's written articles all over in the local press, international press, Jewish press. She's the editor-in-chief of Jewish.pl, and she wrote a book called Polak Niedzenie Polski about the anti-Semitic campaign of 1968. She's received awards from the Israeli embassy. She was nominated for the Polin Award in 2019, very prestigious. Now she's a PhD student and writing her doctorate on Polish-Jewish relations before and during the war. Although maybe you might need to add after the war, which is something that you're very involved in yourself these days. Welcome, Kasha. How are you?
Hi, hello. How are you?
I am excellent.
How's the weather in Krakow?
Because the weather in Krakow is not so nice today. Not so nice. How is the weather in Warsaw?
Rainy day in Warsaw.
Rainy day in Warsaw. Yeah, I think similar. But I've come to realize, traveling to Warsaw a little bit more as Kasha's sister moved to Warsaw, is that usually it's 2 degrees warmer in Krakow than it is in Warsaw.
Yeah, same experience.
Yeah, slightly warmer, but we won't ask Avi how the weather is in Efrat because it's
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
So good to see
I
you.
would love to be in Tel Aviv right now.
Exactly, right? Not Efrat. Notice, Avi, she didn't say I'd love to be in Efrat. She said I'd love to be in Tel Aviv.
I'm sure she would want to visit Efrat just the same. The beautiful Judean mountains. I'm sure it has a warm place in Katarzyna's heart.
Nothing, when I go to Israel, there's nothing that I want to be closer to than Orthodox Americans. Nothing at all, Avi. No offense. No offense.
You want me to show you a picture of what I look out to? Abraham walked on this path. That's pretty cool.
Abraham also walked around the Ur. I'm not talking to anyone in Ur.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
fair enough.
Anyway, let's not argue with our guest. Kasha, you're from Sokołów Podlaski, which is a town in the northeast of Poland. Actually, we know it here at JCC very well because Asha Fabianchuk, who's been working here for 10, 11, 12 years, is from Sokołów. But tell us a little bit about the Jewish history of your town.
It's a long and complex history, and as you said, I'm researching this history for my doctorate. And it was, Sokołów was a town where before the war, 60% of people living there were Jewish. And now if you go to Sokołów, you won't find any signs that is not minority. This Jewish community lived there. You will find a small plaque that here was a Jewish cemetery, but there's nothing that says anything more that there was a famous rabbi, Rabbi Morgenstern, who was one of the leading rabbis before the war in Poland, in Polish, in Poland, and you won't find this Jewish past, this Jewish history on the streets, or it's sad that not only this Jewish community was killed by the Germans during the war, but this memory does not exist right now in the town.
So, Kash, growing up, and this is something, and first of all, thank you for all the work that you're doing to try to change that. The fact that the town is not certainly hasn't done or is not doing a good job of focusing at all, almost at all on its Jewish past. And as you said, 60% Jewish before the war is massive. Over 50% Jewish is a massive Jewish population. So as a little girl growing up in Sokołów, what did you know? Did you hear with the word Jews? Did you know that that so much of the town was Jewish? What did you learn in school? What did you hear? What do you remember your first contact or impression or idea about who these people were that used to live there?
Well, there were no special classes in school about Jewish history. And we had history classes about the war general, about Warsaw Ghetto or Warsaw Ghetto Uprising or Auschwitz, but nothing about our town, our nearest area. And nothing special about Treblinka. I know that now students are going to trips to the campsites, but when I was in school, we never visited Treblinka, which is very not far from Sokołów. And that was a mistake because we should have learned more about our history. It's also our history. It's not only some history of some Jews that were living in our town, but it's also part of our history. So
you don't remember in school saying, "Oh, that we in Sokołów, the town before the war was this, and that this the Jews living here, and this was a prominent Jewish that," and not you didn't remember.
No, nothing. There was nothing, no information about Jewish history of our town. Uh-huh. But then I grew up, and I was interested as a journalist. I was interested in history, and especially in old photographs, old pictures of Sokołów. And I started to collect them. And then on those pictures I saw there are so many Jews. What's going on? What happened to them? Of course, I knew what generally happened to the Jewish community in Poland, but then I found out that 60% of the population of the town were Jewish, and it was a surprise. It was something that I didn't expect. And I wanted to know more about them because I felt that there's something missing. There's something missing not only in schools, not only in the town, that there are no signs of this life, Jewish life. But I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn more, and I went to the archives, and this is how my journey started.
When you saw photos, then there must have been a sizable Orthodox religious population, because if you saw that they were Jewish in the photographs, then they must have been, right, very...
Yes. We had a very famous rabbi. His grave is in Warsaw at Okopowa Street, because he died just in the first few months of the war. So his friends were able to organize his burial in Okopowa, and he was famous. So he had how to say that, a lot of people around him who follow him. Yeah. So
you know what the name of his type of Chassidut was that he was the rabbi of?
He was Rabbi Morgenstern. His father was from Kotsk, and he was a rabbi in Sokolov.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So his house still exists in Sokolov. There's a restaurant in this place right now. But he had a yeshiva, and many people from all over Europe came to study with him, right, in this place.
Kasha, when you started finding out more information, and did you go to people in the town that you respected, or people that the priest or someone, and say, hey, this place was so Jewish, we didn't know nothing about it? Did they have a reaction? Did they encourage you? Did they discourage you?
Well, I think that most people, they don't care, because history is not something that is important for them. They live their lives and that's it. But I know that, we have in Sokolov as well, we have many, let's say, right-wing politicians who use this, how to say it? This fear that there are some Jews who will come to our town to get their property back, and this is a huge problem, blah blah blah. It's nonsense, but I see sometimes when some people from Israel or from US are visiting Sokolov, and I go with them for a walk, and sometimes people are telling us, go away, it's my house, why are you taking picture of my house, it's my house, go. Yeah. And it's, if we had smart politicians, it wouldn't be a problem, but I guess we are not lucky enough.
So I want to get into it a little bit, like sort of to get into these ideas sort of in a larger sense, a philosophical sense of why Polish-Jewish relations look the way they look, or why the government does certain things, not only what they do, and I think we all know certain things, but why perhaps in terms of things that we would call anti-Semitic behavior. And I always feel that I don't want to excuse Polish anti-Semitism, and there is Polish anti-Semitism here, in Poland, Polish anti-Semitism, there's other anti-Semitism, but I always, I think I draw a distinction when I feel that it's based in some sort of, if it's based on fear to do with property. For example, if somebody's like, is afraid, is not very open about Jews, or doesn't want to talk about Jews, and has issues because there's some fear that the Jews are going to come back and take their property. To me, I'm not saying it's okay, but I almost put that in a different category than just something like, the Jews are causing all the problems in the world, and the Jews sort of in this sort of like abstract. In other words, I think that losing one's home because of fear of someone coming back is not that it's not okay, and I understand what happened, and the history is complicated, but to some degree, I think that it's hard to judge people. We can judge people too quickly in that situation, because I think that if considering how much of Poland was Jewish, that we in the United States that also have we weren't the original people living where we're living, where they are in America, then I think it's also would be complicated if there was a feeling that people were coming back and taking their land. Now, I'm not saying it's completely justified, and I'm not saying it's even rational, but to me, sort of things that are coming from that, I'm more tolerant and have more time to explain things to people who are sort of in that category. But I don't know if that's
okay, but I guess it's a job for our politicians to explain to people that it's not a problem. Really, it's not. There's no danger like that. That there'll be, I don't know, thousands of Jewish people in Sokolov, and they will get everything out. And I don't know. We should have smart politicians who could explain to people that this is not any problems. There's no danger like that.
I don't think you see like group of Israelis that are from like Tel Aviv are not about to suddenly leave the beach in Tel Aviv to all move. Nothing against Sokolov, but I'm not sure there's going to be mass exodus from the middle of Israel to Sokolov anytime soon. But have you met with any hostility about your work? I mean, you sort of seem to say that you've met with indifference. People just don't really want to talk about it or something. But I mean, are you sort of known in town as the girl, the woman who's obsessed, first the girl and then the woman who's obsessed with all the Jewish stuff? Is that who you are?
It's hard to say, because I think that, first of all, most of them don't care, but some people are interested in history because it's something that they don't know. There's no book about Jewish history of Sokolov. There are not many articles. And this is why I started a project on translation from Yiddish into Polish memorial books. We translated 4.5 books, and everyone can read them for free on the internet. And I think it was important to let people know that there was a Jewish community in Sokolov, and that this community, members of this community, they were here in our town. They were walking on our streets, and it was our common history. And I think it's a very good project because sometimes, not now because of pandemic, but before pandemic, I was visiting schools and I was talking about this project, and sometimes some people's, yeah, I know this website, I read this, yes, I know this. And it was great that they know this project, they know this website, and they learn about this history, because this is the only way right now they can do it, because there are no special classes or books about it.
I would say probably overall towns, I mean, not only Sokolov, but I think that what you're saying is true of most places in Poland, that even in a place like Krakow, which is, different, much bigger city, and it's, more cosmopolitan, I guess, but we very often find that if people are learning, if schools are teaching anything about the Jews, they're teaching that the Jews were murdered, and they're not teaching that the Jews, lived for a very long time before the Holocaust, and certainly not really teaching much about, 1968 or the more difficult aspects of post-war Jewish Polish experience, and probably nothing about what's going on today, which is sort of what we're trying to do to supplement that.
Kasha, I'm reminded of who you're talking about. Rabbi Morgenstern was not, like you said, I'm sure you know, Jonathan, this is the royalty of Hasidut. If you think about Polish Hasidut, there are several families. And one of the most important personalities is the great-grandfather of this rabbi, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Kotsk. And he's
Rabbi Baumel. I'm very, very familiar with Menachem Mendel of Kotsk.
Okay, the Kotsker Rebbe is a major influence, and there's Kotsker Hasidim till today. And what we find, Kasha, is that just like in Tzanz, they had this big, chatzer, a big group of rabbis, and till today, there are people who are visiting, and there's a pilgrimage, and just like in Dinov there is, and like in other cities. But you're saying that something happened where there is not this pilgrimage to Sokolov. Do you know what happened there? Like, was it that the Hasidim don't go, or that they're not inviting them?
Why isn't there a Hasidic pilgrimage to Sokolov is your question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask the Hasidim why they're not coming to Sokolov.
Well, as I said, I think in Tzanz there was always a kever, there was a grave there, there was an ohel there, there was
something
a synagogue
physical.
But his grave is not in Sokolov, so maybe this is the reason.
I guess they go to Warsaw. So I'm just saying that this is one of the major stories of Jewish Hasidut, but it doesn't go to its source, probably because there's no remnant of it.
There should be.
Yeah.
This is something we need to work out, in the town.
Absolutely. Kasha, I want to talk a little bit about the recent law that was, or the not so recent law, still recent law passed by the Polish government that led you to be, you were questioned by the prosecutor, right? So can you maybe talk a little bit about what you wrote, and then why, and what they, and then a little bit about this, being questioned and why they questioned you think?
Well, it was nonsense. I wrote I wrote article for Krytyka Polityczna, and
a very well respected left-leaning magazine.
Yeah, and it was about Polish and German way of remembering the past. And I often see how German politicians or German ambassador, they commemorate important days in our history. And I said that I would like Polish politicians to admit that we Polish people were also involved in the Holocaust. And this is the one sentence that was offensive.
In Polish people, that Polish people were involved in the Holocaust. This sentence,
yes.
right?
Yes. And there's I don't remember the name of this organization.
Excuse me for a second, Kasha. Did you know when you wrote that was possibly controversial or no?
No. Why?
I don't know.
What's the Polish word for involved in the Holocaust? What did you say? What did you write?
I don't remember right now exactly the
everything hinges on that word. No?
I didn't say that we build Polish camps or something like that. No, right. It's not this problem. But there's an organization to fight anti-Polonism, something like that. I don't remember the name. Right. And this organization asked the prosecutor's office in Warsaw to start investigation because I offended Polish nation, and I should spend 3 years in prison for this one sentence. And I was asked by police officers in Sokolov to come to visit them, and he asked me why I wrote that and if I wanted to offend anyone, especially Polish nation. And I just said it's true. There's nothing special in this article or in this sentence. And they asked me about my education. And it was it was nonsense that I had to explain this obvious things to police officers, to prosecutors. It was really silly situation, but then after a few weeks, I found out that prosecutors decided to discontinue this investigation.
They dropped the case. They dropped the case. They dropped the investigation against you.
Yes. So I'm free.
Yeah. Thank God. So, as you would imagine, I speak, and we've spoken about it in different ways, in different forums, but about the Jewish world's view of Poland, and of what's happening today in Poland with the government, and issues that deal with restitution, which is the most recent, or laws really that deal with restitution, or laws that deal with, as this one that affected you, protecting the good name of Poland, and not saying that Poland was involved or committed, or however we talk about it during the Holocaust. And people say to me, oh, isn't this the fact? Doesn't this mean that Poland is anti-Semitic? And I say, anti-Semitism is this very, very huge, big, broad category, and it's not being very specific. We're not really getting to the bottom of what it means here. And I say, my opinion is generally something like, Poles for a long time have been taught that they're only victims, and that their role in the world historically has been a victim between Germany and Russia, wars, divided, partitions, things that have happened here that haven't been done necessarily by Poland as a country, by the Polish state, and that Poland, because of this, has a very hard time seeing itself as because it's in this role of a victim, has a hard time, and Poles by extension have a hard time seeing themselves as having victimized others. And it seemed like it was a difficult dialogue that was going on, maybe started by what Jan Gross wrote and things, in book, already, 15, maybe 20, almost 15, 20 years ago, I think already. And this dialogue that was going on, and Poles were starting to understand that they can stay, while they could still be victims in a certain sense, it doesn't mean that they couldn't victimize others. And victimizing others sometimes doesn't mean you're not a victim. And also being a victim doesn't mean that both can exist at the same time. And it was a difficult discussion that was going on, and in Polish society, and painful. And it was, I think, healthy and cathartic for Polish-Jewish relations. And then this government essentially came along and realized it was much easier to focus on only the positive, and say Poles were heroic and Poles saved Jews, while doing everything to not focus at all on the fact that it was a more complicated relationship, and sort of less interested in the truth than they are interested in promoting Poland as maintaining this Polish vision of itself as a nation of heroes and victims. Is that generally, am I way off on that? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, of course. Well, Poland as a country is not an anti-Semitic country. There are people who are anti-Semites. There are politicians who use this anti-Semitic views to find more voters. But there are many wonderful people in Poland who are living in towns like Sokolov and other places, who are interested in learning the Polish Jewish history. They have no problems with accepting the past, even this difficult part of the past, that there were Polish people before the war who were involved in boycott, in destroying Jewish shops, or beating Jews, or at the universities in these anti-Jewish riots. And it's also possible to accept for them that during the war, some Polish people were involved in the Holocaust because they were, betraying Jews to the Germans, or even some of them killed their Jewish neighbors, like in Jedwabne. And if some people, especially right-wing people, they have this, they have they must, repeat all the time that in Jedwabne, the Germans did it. There were like this film by Sumlinsky. It's a recent film that there were no Polish people in the Jedwabne pogrom, only the Germans. And it's, come on, really, we have to accept that this really happened. And if we don't accept it, there's no way to discuss. There's no, there's no to talk, and it will be difficult.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, yeah, it's a shame because, the government does something and the government is trying to protect the good name of Poland, but the irony is by doing so in its heavy-handed way and not focusing really on, in my opinion, and you would agree, I think, the truth and a more realistic version of what happened, it's doing the opposite. And the government passes a law which is supposed to protect, the country, so Poland isn't accused of having participated in the Holocaust. And the result of that law is that more people think that Poland was involved in the Holocaust than thought before they passed the law.
Yeah.
So,
yes, there is some sins they want to hide, right?
Yes, no, and I think that there are, as Avi and I know very well, and last week we had Darek Popiela on, who's one of the best examples of it, as are you, non-Jews who are working tirelessly in all different ways to commemorate and to honor and to build as well. And I think that people talk about Poland when the government does something, but that's not telling the whole story at all.
Well, one of the most important things I was able to achieve is that I found people whose parents or grandparents or great grandparents were born in Sokolov, and they live in Israel, in Argentina, in Canada, in America, all over the world. And I connected them. And I may say that we built kind of a virtual Jewish community of Sokolov. So we are rebuilding this community in this way, thanks to the internet, of course. It's only possible. And it's great that we were able to build something like this. And it was possible because we all accept the history, the good things, bad things that happened, and we are able to talk about it and understand each other.
I think without an honest look at the truth, you can't really move forward. It's like having this unspoken, issues on a personal level. You need to air them, and I hope that this government will, I hope things will change, and it's not all about the government, but at the end of the day, when the government does create a certain environment in the country, and I would like to see it be more, obviously be more positive environment for looking at the truth. And I don't feel like it's helping Poland. I feel like all these sometimes people that are critical of things are considered anti-Polish, and I don't think that that's the case at all. I think taking an honest look at Poland and saying Poland, being mature enough to say that Poland as a country has done things, or its citizens have done good things and bad things, is not anti-Polish, it's being pro-Polish. I think what's being anti-Polish is taking this view of saying that Poles can't handle the truth about their own history. That's the fact that I see anti.
Yes, and on the other hand, this government is doing so many silly things, like giving a lot of money to these nationalistic organizations. And there was this guy in IPN in Wrocław, the guy who had a picture, saluting this Hitler salute, yes, right. And they were defending him. So many silly things doing by these people.
Kasha, before this government, there was a much more liberal government, as Jonathan talked about. Were you optimistic about Jewish memory being preserved, and did you see the Polish people kind of going in the right direction, and then all of a sudden just took a turn, or how did you see it then?
I don't really know. Well, I guess most of Polish politicians are more or less seeing history the same way, which means they want to promote good things from our history. But this government is doing this more, in more uncivilized way, and it's just it's more brutal, let's say. And I don't know. I remember President Kwaśniewski, who in Jedwabne said that he's sorry for what happened, and I guess. Well, I would like to see next government who's dealing with all these problems, but I believe it will be more difficult because of this many years of peace who's destroying everything we were able to build for many years. And I don't know what's the future.
I maybe take a slightly less. I mean, I'm optimistic, and I think that I'll tell you why, because I think almost all of the good things I've seen in Poland have not been done by the government, this government, or any government in the 20 years I've been living here. I think that most good initiatives are bottom up, whether people volunteering or doing anything, anything on their own. It's not because there's some government program, as there are in Germany, much more. I think that if things aren't so dependent on the government, then a good government doesn't help so much, and a bad government doesn't hurt so much. So I would almost say maybe that's the case. I wanted to ask you also, you run Jewish.pl. Can you talk a little bit, because it's a great initiative and I think doing very well. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what it is, this portal Jewish.pl, and what it means, what you see the role of it in the world being?
Well, it started with like a hobby for me, because I was working in Jewish community in Warsaw, and there was a need to create a place with Jewish news in Polish, and this is how it started. And it's I don't know. I see that many people read it, and I think that many of our readers are people who don't like Jews or Jewish history, because I read comments, many hateful comments on Facebook or Twitter, and it's strange. But apart from that, I see that this is a place where people like me, like you, or like Mr. Popiela, they can let us know that they did this or that. There's something going on in their town, and they can let us know, and we will publish it, and other people will learn, and maybe it will inspire others to do something similar in their towns. And this is how I see it, like a place where you can find what's going on in Jewish life, and something about history, or finding some historical artifacts in many Polish towns. There are still many tombstones or Torah scrolls hidden somewhere in the old houses, and this is the way we can talk about this.
What is it a portal? How does it work? Is it a website?
Yes, it's a website. It was registered in the court as a journal, because the Polish law does not recognize. It's from PRL. Doesn't recognize websites, only journals or other printed magazines. And yes, it's a portal website, and we publish their Jewish news. You can read it in Polish.
Avi, you're not reading Jewish.pl?
I am not. I will.
Avi, get with it, Avi.
Need to brush up on my Polish anyway. So okay, I'll do it.
Just talking about your work for your doctorate, is there something that you found that really surprises you? Is there something that shocked you that you found in your research?
Yes, I found out that in my town, 2 years before the war, there was a pogrom, and Polish people were Polish nationalistic members of the nationalistic movement. They were just walking through the town and destroying Jewish houses. And there were few hundred houses destroyed during one day. It was after Easter. So it was, it's something that is common in this anti-Semitic part of history, that this anti-Jewish things are connected to Easter or to other Christian holidays. But it was something that I didn't realize before, that something like this
There's
happened.
not really much literature about it?
No.
Wow.
So this is my discovery.
I wonder, you sort of, how people sort of talk about the idea that, oh, Yad Vavna is the one that he wrote about, but it's not the only example. So part of me thinks if there were 5,000 Katarzyna Markushes doing this type of research on 5,000 small towns in Poland, what they would find.
Yes, and many interesting things happened before the war or after the war. The war is, the worst example of many bad things that happened, but there's a lot to tell or write about what happened before.
What about something, finding out about a pogrom is something obviously very difficult to find out, but maybe something that positively surprised you, that you found out something that you didn't know about the Jewish history of your town that was a positive.
So many political parties, so many people who are involved in cultural life. Mm-hmm. And it was and I also found out a love letter written by one Jewish young boy to his girlfriend, who were able to emigrate to Palestine before the war, and he was quoting Mickiewicz in his letter, and I was reading this letter and crying because it was so beautiful, and this love story happened in my town, and I would love to write about this more.
You should. That's a great idea, and it would be nice. You could maybe try to find him.
He was. I found his grave, because he emigrated to Palestine a few months later, but he was young, 2 years old, and he was sick then and died after a few months. So this story
didn't have children. He didn't have children.
No.
I was gonna say that how amazing would it be to present like a grandchild with something like that about their grandparents?
Of course.
Well,
no, that's amazing. You're doing great work, Kasha. We're really so happy for what you're doing and appreciate everything that you've done and continue to do. And it inspires us here in Krakow. Kasha, tell us, are you on Team Latka or Team Hamantash?
Latkas.
Yeah. Excellent. And very important question, your 3 favorite films, Kasha Markusz.
Oh, I don't know. Gone with the Wind.
Okay.
Whoa, classic.
I don't know what's the English title. It's Pogorzelsko. It's a Canadian film about conflict on the Middle East, but it's really good, about the mother who's I won't find it anyway. Okay. And I don't know what's the third. Maybe something with Charlie Chaplin.
Oh,
he's nice.
So you're more of a vintage film, older film.
Okay.
Old Chaplin, Gone with the Wind. I think about Gone with the Wind very often because in film world, it's Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz came out in the same year, 1939. And I always think about that dealing with, Avi is showing Incendies. Oh, there we go. We will have to check it out. But Gone with the Wind, I was thinking like, oh,
Academy
1939.
Award nominee.
There we go. But such an important year for film. Such an important year for film for 1939, but then also, of course, when the war and you know, the really beginning of what led to the Holocaust. So it's interesting to think what was going on in the United States and how, you know, Gone with the Wind and all of this, and you see the Oscars and then what was happening in Europe. Kasha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always amazing
Thank you,
to talk
Kasha. It
to
was
you. You know, we're
wonderful
big
talking.
fans here in Krakow, and we always want to cooperate with you as much as we can and support you as much as we can.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Okay, be well, Kasha. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye everybody.